Welcome to the year of Caufield! Welcome to From Center Ice. My name is Courtney. If you are new here, I am not a Montreal Canadiens fan. I am a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, but after the game we saw last night, which I am going to recap for you right here in this video, it just seems fitting that I would put on my Cole Caufield jersey instead of one of my Maple Leafs ones. Before we jump into that, hello again, Leafs Nation. How are ya? How was your summer? What'd you do? Did you get some peace from hockey? Some peace from this Toronto Maple Leafs team? Do you enjoy the moves we saw over the offseason? Let me know all of that and what your thoughts were on the game down in the comments. And again, if you are new here, what I am here to do is recap the game that we saw last night between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Montreal Canadiens. Here on From Center Ice, you can see videos that are recaps of games like this one. You can see podcast videos and probably some other miscellaneous things as well. There is a lot of Blackhawks and IceHogs content. I do live in the Midwest in Blackhawks land. They are my number one team, but the Toronto Maple Leafs have been my number two since 2013, so I gotta bring them into the channel as well. Now that we've got all the housekeeping out of the way, let's talk about the game. Last night's rivalry matchup against the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens was the first game of the 2022-23 season for both of these clubs. Both of them coming into this season after having wildly different seasons last year. So the expectations are a bit different. The Maple Leafs were a goal away from moving on to the second round in the playoffs last season. Meanwhile, the Montreal Canadiens chose the first overall draft pick because they were last in the league. But I guess another way you can look at that is the Maple Leafs didn't accomplish anything except getting to the playoffs, and the Habs got Juraj Slafkovsky. So who's the real winner here? Well, last night it was certainly not the Toronto Maple Leafs, hence why I am in my Cole Caufield jersey. So to talk about this game, let's just jump into the goals, since that is the easiest way to talk about the outcome. And we shall start with period number 1. After starting the game in a bit of penalty trouble with back-to-back penalty kills for the Maple Leafs, it was looking a bit chaotic there on the ice, but you know, it's only game number 1. I feel like saying it's only game 1, that's not the first time I've said that between the Maple Leafs and the Canadiens when there has been a loss for my team. But you know, I just can't seem to place right now when that other one would have been. It's called selective memory, my friends. Anywho, 11 minutes and 41 seconds into the first period, Mitch Marner has the puck on the right wing side of the ice. He takes a shot at Jake Allen. It does not go into the net, but it circles all the way around the rink, and TJ Brodie is able to collect that puck at the left wing point, sends it back down to Mitch Marner, who is now in the left corner. Mitch shakes off some defenders, goes behind the net, sets up, looks for his passing option, sees what he's going to do. Right out front, he narrows in on his target, Michael Bunting. And with an absolutely sick dish, Mitch Marner gets that puck to Michael Bunting, who just slams it past Jake Allen. 1-0 Toronto. Oh, what a relief that was. Not scoring the first goal in your first game of the season obviously spells tragedy for your team. At least that's what I'm going to tell myself, since Toronto did score the first goal in their first game of the season, so maybe it will be the reverse of tragedy. Look, they need any help they can get, okay? That goal broke the dam and things just kept coming. The very next shift, Calle Jarnkrok, all alone in front of Jake Allen, has an absolutely glorious chance to put the Toronto Maple Leafs up 2-0, but he does not because Allen makes the save. And at the very end of the first period, Cole Caufield, not yet Goal Caufield, has a wonderful chance to tie this thing up for Montreal on a 2-on-1, but he whips the puck wide as it's bouncing on him. Oh, that would have been such a momentum killer, heading right in into the intermission. But he didn't score. The Leafs took a 1-0 lead into the first intermission. On to the second period. And 33 seconds into the second period, with Nick Suzuki flying down the left wing side of the ice, Cole Caufield flying down the right wing side of the ice. Suzuki has the puck on his stick. Not for long though, because he sends it over to Cole Caufield, who becomes Goal Caufield. Because as that puck reached him at the bottom of the right circle, he took just a second to calm it down and sent a quick shot past Matt Murray, 1-1. And all of that started because of a turnover by the Toronto Maple Leafs in the offensive zone. Because of course it did. Morgan Rielly was in deep, down in the left corner in the offensive zone as a defenseman. He gets knocked to the ice by Josh Anderson, I want to say. But that's not where the turnover happens, because he is able to get the puck over to Mitch Marner on the right wing. But from there, Mitch tries to center it to Auston Matthews, I think, or maybe to Bunting, who was in front of the net. It looked more like it was going to Auston. But it didn't get to either of them, because Savard broke up the pass, passed it to Suzuki, then they went on the 2-on-1, and they scored, and that was the first of the night, first of the season, for Goal Caufield. And look, I'm upset about it because it happened against the Leafs, but it's just so hard to be mad at that kid when he's always just smiling. He's not considered a rookie anymore, so I can't call him the eternally smiling rookie. I'll have to think of something else that just flows off the tongue. But also with the way that the beginning of last season went for him, where he couldn't hit the back of the net for anything, and then it all turning around when Martin St. Louis came in as the interim head coach, it's kind of nice to see him score early. I'm just mad because it was against the Leafs. Why couldn't he have waited until he was playing somebody else? Better yet, why did the NHL have to schedule these two teams to play against each other for their first games of the season? Yeah, because they're rivals, and it's usually a good game when the two meet up, and you never know what's going to happen, because it's always chaos, even though one team is supposed to be clearly better than the other one, even though they rarely act like it when these two meet up. There's a few more goals to talk about. I should probably move on. And it gets happier, because 9 minutes and 6 seconds into the second period, Denis Malgin, who made the team out of camp, takes the puck out of the defensive zone, passes it to William Nylander at the center of the ice, who then passes the puck to John Tavares, who breaks into the offensive zone right up the gut. But he does not continue carrying the puck right up the gut, because after he enters the zone, he passes it back off to William Nylander, who is at the right side of the ice. The key here is that after Tavares passes that off to William Nylander, he starts heading toward the net, while Denis Malgin is also heading toward the net down the left wing side. Willie waits, takes a look at his options, takes a shot on goal. Allen makes the save. But John Tavares is able to pick up the loose puck off of the rebound and sends the sneakiest, quickest little pass to the front of the net, where Denis Malgin is just camped out at the top of the blue paint. I had to get a screen grab of this because you cannot draw this up any better for where he was standing. And Tavares, being the wonderful captain that he is, puts it right on Malgin's stick, and it is a tap-in goal for him. 2-1 Leafs. Yay, happy things! Until 15 minutes and 56 seconds into the second period. Before I go there though, about 4.5 minutes left in the second period, Denis Malgin gets a breakaway chance on Jake Allen, and no dice. He could have had 2! Anyway, back to nearly the 16-minute mark of the second period. It was looking okay. Auston Matthews brought the puck into the offensive zone at the left point. He passed it over to Michael Bunting, who was coming down the middle. After passing it off, Michael Bunting was going toward the left boards as Auston was moving himself toward the middle, so they were kind of switching spots. But Bunting didn't get the memo there, because he tried to send the puck back to Auston Matthews where he had been standing before. Matthews realizes this, tries to dive for the puck to knock it get away from trouble. But he cannot because Cole Caufield picks up the puck and is once again on an odd man rush. TJ Brody, man, he got victimized by this guy last night. But this time it was not a 2-on-1, it was a 3-on-2, so he did have his defensive partner back with him, so it's not his fault. But you have Cole Caufield coming up the right wing. He's also got Suzuki and Anderson with him, 3 scoring threats for the Montreal Canadiens against 2 defenders for the Leafs. And while they are 2 good defenders for the Leafs, you still don't like those odds. Especially when Cole Caufield decides he's just gonna do it all himself and rips a shot from the right face-off dot and right past Matt Murray. It goes basically the same exact spot he laid that puck on the first goal. That is 2 for Cole Caufield, Goal Caufield. And the game is tied 2-2. But it didn't seem like it was going to go into the second intermission tied. Let me tell you why. 3 minutes to go in the second period. Jake Muzzin has the puck behind his net, as a defenseman does sometimes. He passed it up to Nicolas Aube-Kubel, who was standing in the slot in front of Matt Murray. Totally fine. It wasn't a turnover. Passed it teammate to teammate. Good. Where the bad comes in is as they were trying to break out of the defensive zone, Aube-Kubel tries to pass it over to Engvall or Kerfoot. I watched the replay a few times. I still can't tell who he was trying to pass it to. It was one of them, but it didn't really matter anyway because it was behind both of them, so it wasn't really to either of them. But it wouldn't have gotten there anyway because Mike Hoffman picked off the pass, shoveling it up to Kirby Dach, formerly of the Chicago Blackhawks, formerly a 3rd overall pick of the Chicago Blackhawks. We're not even gonna go there. He protects the puck, he takes it around Matt Murray's net, trying to tuck it in, and oh my gosh, that side of the net is wide open. Kirby Dach is going to get a wraparound goal. He's going to score a goal in his first regular season game as a Montreal Canadien. I'm never going to hear the end of it. Blackhawks fans always find something to be mad about, and while this season is going to be very horrible for us over in Chicago, they're gonna find a lot of things to complain about. That certainly would have been one of them. So I'm just sitting here feeling the dread sitting in, but also like secretly being happy for Kerbs because I want him to do well and have a good season, because I feel like the Blackhawks gave up on him way too soon when it was their own fault that they rushed his development. Anyway, I said we weren't going there. I felt the dread setting in as he is wrapping that puck around the net toward the completely empty side of the crease because Matt Murray is on the other side. But wait a second. Oh my goodness, there's no red light that goes on behind the net. What has happened? Clearly, he was taking it toward the empty side of the net, and while Matt Murray did dive back to try to stop it, there was plenty of room. He clearly just, put it in the net past him. Thank goodness we have video replay because I need to see what is taking them so long to rule this a goal. So they show the replay, and oh my god, Matthew! How is that even possible? Matt Murray comes from the left side of his net. He just kind of falls over and reaches out, slamming his arm onto the ice, saying, "You shall not pass, young child." Kirby still looks like a teenager. And somehow he got his arm down securely and fast enough to keep that puck out of the net. Matt Murray, Sneaky Pete, as I have started to call him, because I feel like he stands weird in his crease, like he's just gonna start sneaky walking around. So I thought Sneaky Pete was a really funny nickname and nobody will know what I'm talking about unless I explain it, so here is me explaining it to you. What an absolute effort to keep that puck out of the net. Now, of course, it was Kirby Dach, who has just been completely snake-bitten his entire career when it comes to scoring goals so far. I say his entire career because it felt like he was in Chicago for so many years with how often people were complaining about him. The kid is only 21! Just let him be. That wasn't the only tie-breaking chance at the end of the second, though. With 2 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the period, Alexander Kerfoot gets a penalty shot. He was in on a breakaway arbor jack. I hooked him from behind. Penalty shot it is. But Kerfoot does not score. So these two Canadian rivals go into the second period with the game tied 2-2. And now that I imported video data to my computer because my SD card ran out of space, on to the third period. And while it seemed like both of these teams wanted to get the lead going into the second intermission and break that tie, it seemed like neither of them really wanted to do that at the beginning of the third period. I mean, there were chances back and forth, but it took until 17 minutes and 30 seconds into the third period for that tie to break. Kirby Dach had the puck along the left wing boards. He was battling for it with Morgan Rielly. Kirby was able to come up with the puck. He sent it to the point to Jordan Harris. Harris took a shot, but it was blocked out front. Unfortunately, the blocked puck went directly to Sean Monahan, who was able to corral it and fling it past Matt Murray. 3-2 Montreal. And the Habs had their first lead of the game. And Kirby Dach got the secondary assist on it. But 18 minutes and 10 seconds into the third period, Evgeny Dadonov was skating the puck into the slot in the offensive zone. Morgan Rielly said, no, you're not. He poked the puck away from Dadonov. John Tavares was there to back him up like a good captain does. He skated into the puck, carried it out to the neutral zone. He saw that he had William Nylander with him, so John Tavares breaks into the offensive zone down the right wing. Willie's flying up the left. The captain passes it off as soon as he can control that puck in the offensive zone. William Nylander picks it up on his backhand from the inner hash marks, quickly gets it to his forehand, and just whoop! Right past Jake Allen. Tie game. William Nylander is a beauty. And he's on my fantasy team, so I was real happy about that. Of course, I was more happy they tied the game, but I was also happy to get the goal on my fantasy team. Unfortunately for me, I don't have Josh Anderson on my fantasy team, because 19 minutes and 41 seconds into the third period, there's an odd man rush between Suzuki and Caufield. Oh my goodness, not again. Are we really going to have a goal Caufield hat trick? No, we're not. Suzuki tried to get the puck over to Caufield, but the pass was blocked by a Jake Muzzin who was down on all fours, kind of just like a cow rotating around. But Suzuki was able to pick the puck back up, and he shot it high. But Gooley was able to keep the puck in at the left point. He took a shot that was also blocked by Jake Muzzin, but then Jake Muzzin tries to clear the puck up out of the zone, maybe pass it to a teammate, maybe. Again, like 27 seconds left in the game that's tied, but it's the weakest little muffin of a pass. It goes directly to Suzuki at the top of the slot. He holds on to it for a second, tries to get the defenders to bite on a shot. They don't. He passes it over to Josh Anderson, who throws it at the net, and it goes once again past Matt Murray's glove. 4-3 Montreal, and that would be your final. The Toronto Maple Leafs lost to the Montreal Canadiens 4-3 in regulation in game number 1. But they did win where it matters most. The shot on goal total. Toronto had 32 to Montreal's 23. See, don't you feel better now? When it comes to special teams, both of these clubs went 0-for-4 on the power play, and Montreal had the slight edge in faceoffs at 51%. How about the goalies? Matt Murray made 19 of 23 saves. That is good for an .826 save percentage. Jake Allen made 24 of 27 saves. That is good for a more respectable .906 save percentage. When it comes to high danger save percentage, Jake Allen still had the edge on Matt Murray, who is at 600, making 3 of 5 saves, while Jake Allen's was a a .750, making 9 of 12. Here's the good news. And while it may seem like I'm joking, I'm actually not. When it comes to low danger save percentage, Matt Murray was a perfect 100%, making 8 out of 8 stops. Congratulations, Matt, you saved all the low danger chances. But again, I'm not actually joking. That is good news. I mean, if he was giving up a bunch of just weak, softy goals, that would be a lot more concerning. Yeah, maybe you want to take a look at that glove hand a little bit. But it was game 1, and this guy looked very good in the preseason for the Toronto Maple Leafs, so I'm not going to judge his whole season based off the first regular season game. Especially when 2 of those goals came from Caufield himself. It's just what he does. He scores goals. I mean, Auston Matthews is also supposed to do that, and he didn't. You know, we can pick and choose good and bad news all day, can't we? Anywho, the Toronto Maple Leafs need to put this one out of their minds very quickly. They have a fast turnaround. They are playing the Washington Capitals tonight. There are a lot of back-to-backs to start the season. A lot of teams who played last night are also playing again tonight. Same goes for the Chicago Blackhawks. Yay, back-to-back nights of having both of my teams play and the games probably ending up overlapping. I just love when that happens. But when it comes to Toronto, both they and the Caps lost last night. Washington faced our good old friends, the Boston Bruins, and they lost by a score of 5-2. So hey, that's worse than losing 4-3, right? Except Boston is Boston and Montreal is Montreal. Look, I'm not trying to overreact after one game and say the Toronto Maple Leafs are trash because they cannot beat the Montreal Canadiens. I'm sure somebody else is already taking care of that hot take on the internet. So, how'd you feel about game number 1? Let me know down in the comments. I would love to hear from you. For me, I'm trying not to take too much out of it. I mean, there was good, there was bad. I think there was a lot more bad than there was good, unfortunately. For a lot of the first 2 periods, they just looked tired and lazy. It was very strange to watch. And taking 4 penalties isn't the best, but things have been getting called very tightly so far in this young NHL season. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. The good news is they did kill them all off. So maybe that is where I will leave you, with the Toronto Maple Leafs having a 100% penalty kill. They used to say defense wins you championships, but then came the Colorado Avalanche. And I think offense might have something to do with it as well. But that is going to be all from me in this video. I have to get this edited, film 1 for the Blackhawks before, like I said, those 2 games start tonight. So, like I said before, also as well, let me know what you thought of game number 1 down in the comments. Let me know how you're feeling about tonight's game against the Washington Capitals. If you would like to hear more from me or from Center Ice, you can head on over to FromCenterIce.com. There's links to all the places you can find us over there. We also have a brand new merch shop, so that's exciting. FromCenterIce.shop. That is also linked over on FromCenterIce.com. So, you know, again, all the links are over there. But if you are not subscribed to this YouTube channel yet, go ahead and do that. Give this video a like. That would make me so very happy. All of that being said, thank you all so very much for tuning in. I appreciate each and every one of you. Put last night's loss out of your head quickly. We got another game tonight. Get ready. I will catch y'all in the next video. Bye, guys.